Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. Happy New Year to you. This is the 10 a.m. edition of the Wake Up Call. Thank you to everybody who is here. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. Appreciate everybody for being here. Good morning, Shauna. Happy New Year to you. Good morning, Josiah. Happy New Year to you, and also to a beautiful Mandy. Good morning, Tony. Happy New Year to you, and a happy Heavenly New Year to your mama. Anyways, appreciate you guys being here. I had some tech issues this morning that prevented me from being able to get everything online, but now we're here, and it is time to do the very first card of 2025. So let's have some fun. Yep, Pepper says woohoo. Let's have some fun. Let's pull a card off the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. As we continue to say these empowering I am statements, we are building into our own lives. We are changing up our own internal monologue. We are changing our narrative. We are silencing that inner critic. And ultimately, we are banishing those demons that tell us that we can't, or that we won't, or that it's too late, and we make those things go far, far away from us. So let's have some fun today. Pull this card and say that today I am confident. I am confident.
I am so confident I'm going to walk right into the background of yours live stream.
You walk into the background of my live stream. See if I care. I don't. I like it, actually.
Good morning. Happy New Year. May everybody have a phenomenal 2025.
Darn right. I am confident. I can trust in my abilities and judgment. Are you confident?
I am confident.
You are
trust
confident.
in my abilities and judgment.
You are confident. You trust in your abilities and judgment. Yes, I do. Thank you so much, Tony. I do sound better. It's funny. I wasn't sounding super great at 9 a.m. and I also couldn't get the wake-up call to start. But I went outside. The cold weather knocked all kinds of stuff immediately out of my lungs, and I was hawking it good. So didn't some lady just get famous for saying something like that? And I maybe the wake-up call goes viral finally, 2025. I'm calling it. But anyways, I am confident. I trust in my abilities and judgment. You are confident, and you can trust in your abilities and judgment too. So I'm going to write that down in the comments. I see y'all have already done it. You guys know how this game is played. We're going to write this in the comments and build into our own lives. I am confident and I trust in my abilities and judgment.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, confidence is such an interesting thing. I have a whole book about confidence. It's called On Confidence. Confidence is this unique buoyancy of the soul. It is this belief that we have in ourselves that we can and that we will. And confidence is a fascinating thing because when we are confident, other people borrow our confidence. When we know that what we are doing is right, and we know that we are doing the right thing, other people who are unsure as to what is happening or if what is going on is right will borrow from that confidence to bolster their own. And so when we are confident in what we are doing, then the folks who are around us can also be confident in what they are doing. And so confidence is something that spreads. It's something that's quite contagious, actually, but not the way that the virus is, but contagious in the way that one wave in the ocean will beget another wave.
Like a ripple when you throw a tiny pebble into a pond.
There you go, a ripple going into a pond.
It starts off small and then it grows and grows and grows.
And it really does. And it does not take but the smallest act of confidence, the smallest act of one person trusting in their abilities and their judgment to really have an incredible effect on the world. Mm-hmm. And so confidence is something where we know that we can, and then we do. And there are a couple components of that. First of all, we have to know. We have to know what we are capable of. We have to be aware of our abilities. That doesn't mean that we've done it before. It means that we know that we can do it. Because if you think about it, everything that we've ever done in life is something that we've never done before. There is some point in our lives that it is the first time that we've ever done anything. And we have to believe that we can, otherwise we never would.
Mhm.
And so many times adults get caught up in this trap because we start to realize, there's this thing in psychology called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is when people who don't know very much about a topic think that they're an expert at it. It's not just they think that they're okay at it. They think that they're an expert at it because they know the tiniest little piece of information. It could also be referred to as, just like knowing enough to be dangerous. And indeed, there are plenty of people who know just enough to be dangerous. We see them all over the world, doing things and generally being dangerous. And just because we aren't aware of the risks doesn't mean the risks don't exist. It just means we're not aware of them. I remember I went sea kayaking once, and that nobody told me that you really shouldn't go out into the open ocean when you're sea kayaking, but I had no freaking clue. And so I paddled out to out of the bay and into the open ocean because I wanted to go to be where the big waves were in my tiny little sea kayak. And then I found, to my chagrin, that I could not get back into the bay because there's these things called currents that I didn't know they existed in the ocean. But let me tell you, they will prevent a 4 foot or a 6 foot long sea kayak from getting back into the sheltered bay where all the other tourists were. I went and did something really dumb and damn near had to be rescued by the Coast Guard. But after about 6 hours of paddling my butt off to get back onto anything that resembled land, I finally was able to get close to a place where I broke free of the currents, and I found a current that could sort of kind of take me home. And literally everything was closed. The sun was going down. The person who rented the sea kayaks was like, "Well, I guess I'll tell the Coast Guard not to come find you." I'm like, "Sorry, man. I no nobody ever told me I wasn't supposed to go out into the ocean." He's like, "I thought everybody knew that." Well, that was Dunning-Kruger at its finest. I was I knew the tiniest little amount of how to do sea kayaking, and just because I didn't know what the risks were doesn't mean the risks weren't there.
Mhm.
And so I had trust, but I didn't have the abilities, and I certainly didn't have the judgment. The confidence comes when we have trust in our abilities, when we know that we have the ability to do it, when we know that we have the judgment. If I had I certainly had the ability to keep the kayak upright, which was which was the ability that I thought that I needed in order to sea kayak, was like to keep the boat on the top of the water. But I also needed to have other abilities that I didn't know that I had, or I didn't know that were necessary. And so the fact is that I didn't get lost at sea that day, which was good. But at the same time, I also really worried a whole bunch of people at this little seaside town that I was staying at, because they're like, "Oh crap!" They definitely didn't want to have to call up the Coast Guard and go find another rescued idiot tourist. So yes, indeed, I'm an experienced world traveler, but I am fully capable of being an idiot tourist.
Are we all though?
We certainly are. But the fact is that when we get too far outside of the things that we are familiar with, when we get too outside of our zone of competence, that we have the ability to think that we know more than we do. And so confidence is when we know that we know. It's not that we think that we know; it's that we know that we know, and that we have the judgment, the good judgment, to say this is where I'm good at, and then this is where I'm not, and staying in the places that we're good at. And and there is a very real place in this world for for pushing the boundaries of what we can do. But we have to understand that when we are pushing the boundaries, that it doesn't serve us to be confident. It serves us to be confident when we know that we can, and and when we are at the edge of our competence level. To recognize that is when we need to be more cautious. That's when we need to find a guide. I would have been very well served to hire a guide that day. I would have had a much nicer day kayaking. I probably would have seen all the cool stuff that all the other tourists saw and had an amazing time, and not had to go and try and paddle myself back into a bay from the ocean. And so I am confident today. You are confident as well. And the more that I live life, and the more that I continue to succeed at things, the larger that my zone of competence becomes. The more things that I know that I'm good at doing.
And even when you make mistakes, like ending up in the open ocean, you still learn from those mistakes, and it still gives you the ability to grow and thus build your confidence in new and unexpected ways.
Exactly. And at this point, if I were to go sea kayaking again, I would go sea kayaking and I would do it in a much wiser way.
Mhm.
I now know that ocean currents are a thing. I know how powerful they are because I paddled against one of them for 6 hours. There is nothing quite like some sweat and fear of death to very quickly sharpen and hone skills. And so my abilities were increased tremendously that day. I was a much better sea kayaker at the end of that experience than I was at the beginning of that experience, and certainly my judgment improved on that day too, because I learned a heck of a lot more about the ocean in those 6 hours than I had in the 6 months before that.
Mhm.
And so today, let's be confident. Like, this is the first day of a new year, and in one way, this first day of the new year is just a number on a calendar. But in another, much more fundamental way, a lot of people are doing a lot of new things, and so we get to ride those waves. We get to be a part of that newness, and so this gives us permission also to do new things. As we do these new things, let's recognize that we have the ability to do them, and let's also recognize that we can apply our judgment. We can apply our judgment in using the wisdom and the knowledge that we have accumulated over the years.
Mhm.
My beautiful friends, we have an entire year ahead of us. We we
Woohoo!
have we we have we have a whole lifetime ahead of us. Today is the first day of the rest of our lives. And so we can do anything, we can be anything, we can make any change. We can choose any kind of a different choice and therefore get different results. And I encourage you as we go through this new year to make the changes and to get the results, and to not allow fear to dictate our lives, but rather to allow confidence to dictate our lives, to allow ourselves to really live in accordance with our highest potential, because we all know that we have a tremendous untapped potential in ourselves. And the wake up call is about unlocking that. It's about recognizing that every moment that we are constantly making choices, and in many cases, without us even realizing it, that those choices are dictated by compromise, they're dictated by fear, they're dictated by inertia. And when we can break free of that and recognize that this moment is new and that the next moment is going to be its own moment, we can absolutely revolutionize the way that we do life.
Mhm.
I am confident that you are going to find the best way to do life for yourself, that you already are, and that you are well on the way to being the ultimate version of you that has ever existed. And I'm confident in myself as well. I'm confident in my own ability to
Mhm.
make big moves and to do cool things and to be to be the biggest and best and boldest and brightest version of myself that's ever existed. I'm confident in my ability to do that. I'm confident in my judgment of being able to tell what things that I'm good at, what things that I need to outsource to other people. And I'm confident in the process. I'm confident in the process and knowing that nothing ever comes exactly when I think it should, and the fact that things don't come when I think that they should come doesn't mean that I'm failing at the process. It means that I'm impatient with the process.
Everything happens exactly when it is meant to happen.
It really does. And when I look back at my own life, I understand that I understand that the vast majority of the things that have happened in my life that have had the most tremendous potential for change, these things have happened not as a result of my grinding and my efforting. They've come as the result of my deciding. They've come as a result of me making a decision and saying, I'm going to do this new thing now, and I'm going to go all in on this new thing now, and and I'm going to be confident that I know enough about myself that the choice that I'm making is good for me.
Mhm.
And I found that when I did that, that's when my life drastically changed. And my life did not always drastically change for the better right away when I made these choices. Sometimes it drastically changed for the worse, and I have to accept that, and accept the fact that sometimes change comes with, like, there's a moment of free fall before a parachute opens when we jump out of an airplane. There's a moment of free fall of, holy shit, I don't know what's going to happen. I sure hope this parachute opens, and then it does, and then all is well with the world. And so let's be confident today. Let's be confident this year. Let's be confident in our choices. Let's be confident in our abilities. Let's be confident in our judgment. Let's be confident in what we are competent at. Let's be confident that things are working together for us, and let's be confident that even if we can't see the fruits of what we have planted, that the roots are growing day by day by day. And we have to have the roots before we will ever see the fruits.
You have to sow the seed before you see the roots.
You got to sow the seed before you see the roots, as Pepper says. And you know what? The seeds that we sow are the thoughts that we think, and the thoughts that we think become the words that we say, and the words that we say become the actions that we live up to. And so we are confident. We are confident that we are going to have an amazing 2025, just like we had an amazing 2024, just like we had an amazing 2023 before it. The numbers on the calendar might be changing, but there's one thing about life that never does change, which is that we are always in a now moment. We always have the ability to make any change that we choose. We always have the ability to conduct ourselves in the highest and best manner that we have learned how. And because we have this ability, it allows us to just continually build upon everything that we learned in all of our yesterdays, so that we are setting ourselves up for all of our tomorrows. But each and every part of this happens now. Every part of this happens in this moment. This moment is the moment that we have power. This moment is the moment that we can trust in our abilities and our judgment. And this is the moment that we are going to seize as we seize the day. All right, my beautiful friends, Happy New Year. I'm so grateful that everybody came by. Thank you for attending the 10 a.m. edition of the Wake Up Call. Honestly, it was kind of a little bit nice that I didn't have to do it at 9 a.m. today. Maybe I'll do it at 10 a.m. on major holidays from now on. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better at 10 than I was at 9, that's for sure. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who's been reaching out also about my health. I really appreciate that. And Pepper's health. She's feeling really well. And she has... yeah, she's doing well. We are expecting in about what, 4 weeks now, Pepper?
Yeah, just under 4 weeks at this
point. Just under 4 weeks. Life's about to change pretty big way for me. Yeah, but so thank you to everybody who's just been reaching out. I love you. I appreciate you. I care about you. And good morning again to everybody who's here. So thank you so much for Tony for coming here and for always sharing this stream, Tony. Good morning, Josiah, and also Mandy. Thank you for being here, and Happy New Year. Good morning, Shauna. Let's see here. Miss Lauren is here. Good morning, Lauren. Wonderful to see you for coming in from Paradise. I hope that you had a wonderful time. It looked like there were a lot of people at the club last night.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, we rode past on the golf cart, and it was busy.
Yeah, we didn't go to the club, but we did go through on a golf cart because, I haven't been feeling great, and I did not want to share my gift with others.
Sharing is caring, except in the case of illness.
Yes, exactly. Sharing is caring, except when it's contagious. Do not want that. Let's see here.
Glad everybody was having such an incredible time, though.
Yes. And let's see. And then Sean says, I stayed home last night because I know what I'm capable of. Yeah, I understand that, Shauna. I also stayed home last night, but I had a wonderful, wonderful New Year's celebration with Pepper. And then we went and just kind of cruised around midnight and said Happy New Year to some people who probably won't remember that they saw us at all, because for considering how cold it was, there were a lot of people wearing a whole lot of nothing.
But they were having a good time.
They were having a good time. I'm like, I hope y'all drank some water, because otherwise they might not be having a great time today. Anyways, Happy New Year to everybody. It is 2025, and we're going to make this the best year ever. I love you. I appreciate you. I care about you, and I'll be around tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another one of these. Until then, aloha from Paradise.
Bye.
And one day this thing, my streaming software's been so funny. One day it'll turn off. Mm-hmm.